Nostalgia X.
You're listening to the Nostalgia X podcast with your host, DJ Doom and J-Bat.
You been keeping up with E3, bro? Are you like anti-game now?
Bro, I've been out of town, you a fool.
I don't give a fuck. You got a smartphone.
Most of the time my phone has been in a bag and I haven't even looked at it.
I'm just curious, bro. So, anyways, we've been catching up today. You've been catching up since you got back in town. E3, I don't know when the last day of it is, but Xbox was yesterday. Was PlayStation today? I'm not really...
PlayStation is today.
Okay. Or was today.
Because I was watching some of the videos.
Okay. So, E3, for those of y'all that don't know, big gaming event. Everyone typically... it's still early year getting into the summer, so they are sort of announcing their big titles or unveiling their big titles around this time of the year. So we were super hype. I watched some of it, the Xbox event yesterday, then Bethesda, the creative team behind Fallout and the last Elder Scrolls, or the last two. They had their little presentation later that night too, and Fallout 76, huge title coming out, and I think the head of design for Bethesda, he came out and he mentioned that it's gonna be online, and a lot of people were kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited that they're adding the co-op capability. Because my girlfriend, who's huge Fallout, that's like her favorite franchise for video games, has been playing Fallout for over a decade. And seeing her play the last one made me want to look into it more. But I was like, I'll wait. I'll wait to see what happens. And then they announced 76. So I was like, okay. I didn't have to wait that long. Like, I was thinking, a few more years.
the hype is over.
I was just like... More like the wait is over. I was like, dang. Like, I was expecting a little bit more time. But now that I think about it, it's actually been like 3 or 4 years since that one was released. It's been at least 3.
Fallout 4?
Yeah. It's been like 3 years.
Yeah, it's been like 2.5, 3 years.
I was still at my previous job when they released it, because I remember they released a special exclusive edition with socks.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember that, yeah.
So that was a while back. And so, long time coming, I guess. And they're doing a lot of cool stuff with this. Like, I was looking online. You can go to GameStop.com right now, and they have a build your own. It is a pre-order, so it's not like, hey, you can get it today. It's available in November 14th to be exact. But you can build your own Pip-Boy, which is the device that rests on your forearm area on the game, and you basically do all kinds of things with it. That's like the device you interact with to get your equipment and stuff like that. That on this like post-nuclear game. But I love the vibe of the game, how story-driven it is. And this one, they're saying that the open world aspect of it's going to be 4 times larger than Fallout 4, which... I personally didn't play Fallout 4 for longer than, the time it took my girlfriend to kind of come back from the restroom or something. Because, I would just pick it up, just like, I don't want to mess up her progress, and put it back down. But it was a very massive game just watching her play it, how open world it was, like kind of, that Grand Theft Auto vibe where you can kind of go around, do whatever you want at the pace you want. So for this to be 4 times larger, there's going to be a lot to do in this game.
That map just seems like it's going to be crazy.
I'm super excited about it.
It makes it feel like you're like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Gives it a Grand Theft Auto
That's what I was just
vibe.
saying. Did you just ignore everything I just fucking said?
I did.
You bastard.
Hey, I'm being honest,
All right, but I'm excited. J-Bass excited. We got a little weird thing going on. Like, I'm super PS4. I have all the consoles, but I'm super PS4. My girlfriend's, super Xbox, even though she gets mad at it almost every day. J-Bat's, at Team Xbox. So I gotta make a decision. They haven't announced anything about cross-platform play, and I highly doubt it will support it where PS4 can play with an Xbox. But
That'd be kind of weird.
it'd be kind of weird, and that they just won't do that. They're like, you want to play with an Xbox? We'll go buy your ass an Xbox. So, and it makes sense. So, luckily we have two because I bought my son one for Christmas. He's a huge Minecraft fan, and so we found the special edition Minecraft one, and I was like, that screams my son's name right there. So we made it happen. In turn, we have now two Xbox Ones in the home, so we can get some LAN party things going on, and maybe me, girlfriend, and J-Bat can all get some co-op going on this Fallout, because that is another thing they mentioned that you can do, and I'm super hype about that, because co-op is like my favorite way to play games since back in the day. Having a sibling that was pretty close in age, played a lot of co-op, so super looking forward to that. There's a lot of other games. Devil May Cry's got a big title coming out. There's a Resident Evil 2 remake coming out. I don't even know how much details they've put out on that.
No, I would have to admit, I did watch the Devil May Cry 5 because of Johnny Young Bosch. That guy is actually playing one of the voices on Devil May Cry.
Okay.
And I was like, why is he posting this on us? And I saw the trailer. Sick.
Yes.
I would have to say that trailer, though, is awesome.
Yeah, the game looks fantastic. What was the game you just mentioned that had the kiss scene?
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2?
Yes.
Right. That's coming out. That's going to be a big title. But that one's PlayStation exclusive, correct?
Yes.
So
That would be correct. Don't forget about Gears of War 5.
Gears of War 5, that's an Xbox exclusive.
Halo Infinite, which is an Xbox exclusive.
That one, we got to mention that. I can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet. So for the Halo fans, or for the old school, I played Halo back in the day.
I'm one.
Same here. That looks fantastic. And then it looks like it may be potentially somewhat open world, and they have like actual animals in the wilderness and things like that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were joking, like, is it going to be open world to where this is on Halo, whatever, when you get to the end, you just fall off? Like, what I'm saying? Like, what's going to happen? So it'll be interesting how they handle everything. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that, and I'm sure we'll get some more info soon. Also, games, obviously, we're excited about, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. The new Halloween trailer. So Jamie Lee Curtis back in action. We're both excited to see her. If you haven't seen the trailer, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it looks good. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? What did you think about it, J-Bat, without spoiling it?
I liked how I wouldn't say the new look of Mike is, but they kept it in old school vibe, but made it look more darker.
Yeah.
So, just in simple terms like that.
Yeah. So they cleaned it up a little bit to bring it up to date somewhat, but they still are, bringing that old school that really creeped the hell out of everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't want to see this completely reimagined Michael Myers. Like, that's not what people want to see.
Nope.
I want you to bring me back. I want to get that nostalgia. I want to go to the movie theater and feel like I'm a kid again, not old enough to watch the movie, but still sneaking and watching the movie. Or maybe you just had a cool mom or dad that was like, I'm going to let you watch this, but when I say cover your eyes, cover your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, whatever the case may be.
It's like every other scene. Okay, cover your eyes.
You can't
and then
watch
you ask,
this.
hey, what just happened?
It's like, don't worry about it, or you're going to bed. So, a lot of cool stuff, but we're super excited about Halloween. We talked about Spawn last week. We're super excited about that. Jamie Foxx getting casted. We would love to see John Leguizamo reprise the role. If there was only one good thing about that movie, the last movie, the OG Spawn, let it be that. Let it be known that we would love to see him And I'm not just saying that because he is a fellow Puerto Rican. I just want to see it happen. He did fantastic.
He made the role. He practically
absolutely.
made the character.
Absolutely. But like I said, we're excited about Fallout 76. If you haven't checked it out, if you're not a fan of Fallout, I'm not going to lie. I haven't played the other Fallout games. I'm super hype about this one. At just, getting the promotion material out there and doing what they can to hype the game up. So they got the Bethesda conference they did yesterday. They promoted it at E3. So they're going hard on letting the people know about the game. So I'm excited. Fallout 76, I'll be definitely jumping on. From there, I'm also going to mention that I got to see some WWE wrestling. Just the other day, they came to our town, and it was what they call a live
Southern
event.
doing that.
They came to our town. Did that sound better?
It's a little bit. Our town.
I am talking about wrestling, so
A little twangy right there.
But I got to see Jeff Hardy. I've been watching him since I was a kid. I grew up in North Carolina, so the Hardy Boys are from North Carolina, for those that don't know. So not that mattered much because they were so hype around that little hardcore attitude era. They were them, Edge and Christian, a few others like Mick Foley, Al Snow, Hardcore Holly, all these other quote unquote hardcore guys. They just made that a legit thing to the point where there was even a hardcore title that looked like it was made by little kids in the back. It was just a trash.
Beating up the heck.
It was horrible. It looked like a championship title that someone took like a sledgehammer and broke it in pieces, and then someone just let Mankind /
That's what they did.
Foley customize
That's what they
it.
basically did. They had a broken belt. And they put duct tape on it and said hardcore title on it. It was really, really janky, but
it was cool.
Very, very creative.
It was cool. And if you were the holder of the title, which that title, they got a little out of hand with like who was holding the title at one point. Remember they were like, I forget their names, but one of them was a veteran wrestler. He was one of the two dudes that would follow Vince McMahon everywhere. But anyway,
that would be. Hold on, I actually have one of the list
of the holders of the title.
I think, yeah. Let's see here. Who was it? We all know Rob Van Dam had it. The Undertaker had it. Jeff Hardy had it.
I'm talking about people we would not expect. That's what we're.
Where was it?
But fact of the matter is, like, they did a lot of crazy stuff with it. But I went to see wrestling at our local venue here, or local arena, and it was awesome. I had second row seats. I was within like arm distance of the action, and I got some really good shots. I'll be loading a few onto the Instagram, Twitter, for those that are fans or were fans and want to see. Some of my favorite wrestlers were there, male and female. And like I said, I was so close. It was just funny. Like, there was one moment where one of these younger, kind of up-and-comer female wrestlers was on the side of the ring closest to us, where her back, when she was outside of the ring, was facing us. Guy in front of me was trying to get a picture of her. I'm not going to assume it was a picture of her rear end, but it was definitely a picture of her back, whatever. And she turned around and caught him in action, and she called him out. It's like, "Oh, you're trying to get a picture of me?" And he got so embarrassed, and it was just, oh my God, it was priceless. Like, I was laughing so hard just to get that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, this list of hardcore champions is ridiculous.
I bet. Like I said, it got out of hand.
This one, let me see, had 240 champion title holders.
240.
Yeah.
Jeez.
240.
Yeah. They were like doing crazy things where they'd go in the back and then you can pin anywhere.
It's called the 24/7 house rules.
Right.
So within the 24/7, you have that opportunity to go after that title and try to win that title.
Right. And it's a hardcore title, so it doesn't even have to be in the ring. There was people getting pinned in the back rooms on just random things.
House shows. They did a lot of it in house shows, and It shows that the majority of them that won on house shows.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
They used it as just a fun title that they can, anything goes. That's the best way to put it. So, but it was very fun going to see wrestling. It made me feel like a kid again, seeing Jeff Hardy in action, and he is a current title holder. So they are definitely showing him love, and he was in full paint. He had the old school bands over his forearms or whatever you want to call those. Me and my brother used to get like long crew socks and cut holes in them and then put them over our arms to act like we were the Hardy Boys. So we've had those days.
Everybody's had one of those days.
We'd also used to do a lot of crazy stuff. Like we'd take the mattress off the bed and put it against the closet, and then we'd like bounce off of it doing wrestling moves.
That's awesome.
Or climb up it, American Gladiator style, trying to reenact like the course from American Gladiator.
That's awesome.
So we did a lot of crazy stuff back then. And our mom was pretty laid back, so she let us do some of that stuff. But
My mom would kill me if I get caught doing that, man.
what the hell are you doing with the mattress? It's like, Edwin does that, American Gladiators?
You don't.
If you don't. How many Filipinos you know been on American Gladiators?
To be honest with you, I think there has been one.
I'm sure. I mean,
He was fast, too.
There were a lot of seasons, or a lot of episodes at
I
least.
can still hear the theme music.
But we talked about off air the Cloak and Dagger show. So it got certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes. If you haven't seen it, hella good show. It is completely different from anything you've seen if you watched any comic book inspired shows. Highly emotional. I would probably say Jessica Jones is the closest in kind of vibe. It's on Freeform, which I personally have not watched any shows on Freeform. So Freeform, if you're listening, I think Disney owns it anyway. So Disney,
They do.
yeah. If you're listening, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger is what brought me to Freeform. And if you catch me on Freeform, that's why I'm watching Cloak and Dagger. So go on and release more episodes, bring more Marvel shows. I will definitely watch.
I'll take a picture of it and put it on our Twitter.
But the show,
for you guys.
for the show, Rotten Tomatoes wise, it's almost at a 9 out of 10. So I definitely agree with that rating. Solid show. Check it out. They have 2 episodes available now. I don't know when they're releasing a third or if they're going to do one at a time, how they're going to do it. But the age range of the characters, they seem to be around that 16 to 18 range. So if you're into those old school movies with high school kids in them, that's the vibe that this show has. But it's not your Riverdale, quote unquote. It's more, I would say, it hits a little harder, at least right out of the gate. You know, some shows, you know, they kind of build it up. Here, it's like it's smacking you with some emotional stuff right out of the gate.
I'd say that's how a good TV show should start.
That's
off.
right. Like just right off the back, you're like, oh my God, is this really happening right now?
What is this?
Yeah, it's like, golly. So it's not the type of show you just want to put on and then slightly pay attention. Definitely focus on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's hitting you with a lot of key plot points right out of the gate. From there, the Halloween movie trailer, it's got Jamie Lee Curtis. It's got OG Michael Myers. J-Bats mentioned that, you know, they kind of went dark with the, you know, the look. They've brought it up to date somewhat, but they kept that OG vibe to it. Mm-hmm. So we're both excited.
That makes me want to see it. Just, you know, just for me being a makeup, you know, fan, just to go and see and watch that, it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. From there, I want to segue into one of these funny questions. We've been throwing a few out here and there. So I'm going to throw it at J-Bat. Then he'll bounce it back at me. So J-Bat, based off the fact that, you know, Team Nostalgia X, we got to represent with a little flashback. So for our flashback question, what Power Ranger would you be? From the OG Power Rangers, which Power Ranger were you on the playground back in the day? And why?
You know, I'm going to throw this out because I did dress up like this on Halloween. Because I remember when they did the...
Which Halloween? What year? Do you remember?
I was in... Man. I can't remember. I think it was elementary. I was in 5th grade, I think.
So, let's see. Was it like 90, 91?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 91, 92.
Okay.
Green Ranger. Because I love the gold and everything else, and I love...
Did you have like the little, like the thing that he would put over?
I had the shield.
Nice.
I had the shield and everything on it, and I remember that, and I loved Tommy. I loved the character he was.
Awesome. Yeah, he was awesome.
My thing on my bucket list is to meet Jason David Frank.
That's awesome.
And what I hear is he's a very awesome guy to stay with his fans to everything. So, I mean, signings, pictures, he'll stay there the whole entire time.
He'll make sure everybody gets there. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody gets an opportunity to meet him.
That's legit. Kind of like when we met Xavier Woods.
Oh my gosh, he was awesome.
So
he was funny too.
Yeah. Up, down, down. He does a show. Not that we need to promote it. He's big. But WWE wrestler who was also here this weekend when I went to see the show. We went to Dragon Con a couple years ago, and he did his first panel for his... Then it was still kind of early stage not podcast, but YouTube show.
Well,
and
his panel was an unofficial panel because they asked him when he showed up there, because they had fillers and like, hey, do you mind doing a panel?
Yeah, but it was his first panel, and it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that J-Bat mentioned it, so we got to attend that. And afterwards, he wanted everyone to get an opportunity that wanted a picture, autograph, etc. So he took basically all of the crowd that wanted to an open area, and he waited, and I, with just judging from how many people were in that room, I was like, man, I'm not trying to wait in these lines. J-Bat went, and I was like, I'll just wait till he's done. He came back, I don't know, maybe it was 45 minutes later. And he was like, dude, he's still down there if you want to try. And I was like, well, shoot, I hate lines, but now there's not a line. So if he's still there, I'll try. And we went down there, and he was still waiting on anyone that wanted to come in last minute. And I went, got to meet him. He was a tag team champion at the time. So we did a little dance that him and his crew do with my son. And I think he was like 4 at the time. And we had a ball. We got videos, pictures, everything. So super awesome guy, super down to earth. And he's gotten nothing but more popular since then. And he's still the same way. So not everyone, when that fame comes, keeps that. But super genuine, super cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool to hear that, one of my quote-unquote idols from growing up, the Green Ranger Tommy, is that type of person too. I definitely would love to meet him. And he still looks the same. Some of these, like Red Ranger, I can't remember his name, but he looks like a complete...
I think it's Austin St. John.
Yeah, he looks a little different. Billy still looks the same. He's aged well.
David Yost.
Black Ranger.
Which one?
The original.
Walter Jones.
Aged well. Fortunately, original Yellow Ranger, she passed. And Pink Ranger, she aged up pretty well as well.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, here's the cool thing about
a lot of boys' first crush.
Oh yes, definitely. Here's a funny thing about her: wherever Jason David Frank goes, she goes, because he actually goes, no, this is where I want her to go because she wants to be with me. And everywhere you see him, she's always there.
They're probably really good friends off screen.
Oh, yes. Diehard friends and everything else. Did you know she used to be married to Austin St. John?
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She used to be married to him, and little things happen here and there, but not going to go into detail on that. But, yeah. I mean, if you seen in the Power Rangers movie, they were on there.
Yeah.
Little Easter egg thing right there. So
yeah,
it's pretty
something
cool.
for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
So, so Green Ranger for you, right?
Yes.
For me, I'm kind of in a cross because I grew up with the OG Rangers. I would say the Red Ranger was my favorite, but then when the Green Ranger came around, it was like brush everything to the side. Green Ranger is the man. He also looked the most like me with the dark hair and the tan complexion. So I was like, hey, he looks like me. And he's just cool. Like, they made him sort of like this stone cold anti-hero. Like, you know, he ends up getting turned, mind controlled by Rita, the evil. And
then he had that cool sword.
yes.
Remember that cool?
He had his own little kind of Megazord thing going on, like just one man army type thing going on. But the fact that he played both sides at one point, kind of being like secret agent to some extent, not because he wanted to, but it just happened. It was super awesome. Double agent. Green also looks super awesome in their uniforms. And other than Jason, like, they never let anyone get that limelight. You know what I'm saying? They made Jason the leader. They gave him the coolest lines. He looked cool when he wasn't in you know, his Mighty Morphin gear, as far as character-wise. And he whooped the most ass. So Green Ranger comes around, and now it's like, yeah, I'm looking at you, Red Ranger, right in the face. What are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? So, like, they just marketed him as super awesome, and I was all about it, just like J-Bat. But being that you went Green Ranger, I'm going to go White Ranger. So when they one-upped the Green Ranger, and then, you know, he kind of went, I guess, all the way good. They gave him his own Megazord. They gave him a new sword that talked. And they gave him, all this other cool stuff. You know, White Ranger, super awesome. So I'm also a very big fan of gold. So the white and gold accents, bruh, all day.
Black. You gotta have that black.
All day. So White Ranger for me, but definitely would love to meet him in person. So that'll be my goal. Definitely, I would say since I'm going to Origins, that's not going to happen now. But maybe Q4 of this year, and then going into next year, let's try to meet this guy. That'd be super awesome.
Funny thing that you said that the convention that's here is the expo. Let me just put it that way. The owner of it is a diehard Power Rangers fan, and he actually has 2 Power Rangers coming next year. It's Walter Jones.
Okay.
And
I want to meet him too.
And the Yellow Ranger.
Okay.
Can't remember her name. I do apologize, but
the second Yellow Ranger. That'd be cool to meet her too.
My son and I, we actually met David Yost, Johnny Young Bosch, and Austin St. John so far. My goal is for him, my son, to have every single of his pop figures signed by each of the Power Rangers that played it. Except for the yellow one, which is going to be kind of hard, but having that one will mean a lot. But for each of those pop figures having 2 signatures on it would mean a lot for him. So that's one thing I wanted to do. I think for the Green Ranger, it's going to be hard for me because you got green and white. So
yeah.
I don't know which one to pick for. I might go with the white one for me, but green one
both?
for him. That's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So
do both, man. Be like, dude. Yeah, I grew up watching you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Please make this happen.
Exactly.
From there, I want to segue into some more kind of reminiscing, and I can start if J-Bat gets caught off guard. But
I'm always getting caught off guard by you, so I'm used to it.
Scary memory as a kid. I want to focus more on movies. What is the one movie franchise when you were a kid that scared the, living shit out of you, and still to this day, you kind of, I gotta be in the right mood to watch it. Is there anything like that? Because you're not someone that scares that easily. At least from a movie standpoint. I come around the corner maybe, when you ain't looking. But what would be that one that you're like, ew.
All right, I'm gonna let this one movie slip by. And there's a couple more, but I'm gonna let this one. You actually have the pops of it.
Ooh, yeah.
But it's the original.
The original
reason being is
It.
because
the original It is what he's referring to,
with
guys.
Tim Curry. There's 2 parts in there that made me turn around majority of the time after watching, and I'm like, what the living crap? That is the only movie that kind of scared the living crap out of me just watching it, and actually after watching it, I'd always be afraid of clowns that time. So I would go with that. My most scariest moment would be
That's a good
watching
one.
the original It.
That's a very good one. For me, it's tough, man. I was more of a, like, I could watch the Friday the 13th. I can watch Halloween, and those didn't scare me much. For me, I was more of like the, I mentioned on the previous episode, Unsolved Mysteries, like that stuff with ghosts. I watched a lot of Goosebumps growing up, and there'd be like little episodes that would freak me out. But I think the biggest thing that freaks me out is like that this can really happen type fear, genre. Like the Blair Witch Projects and stuff like that, where they made almost like a mockumentary, it's like a documentary, but it's not really a documentary. And then that last scene in the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel like you're in the woods with these people, and then
Facing the
freaky
corner.
stuff starts happening. So like those are the ones that sit and like kind of eat at me, like, day after day, month after month. And I'm like, man, I still remember watching the Blair Witch Project, like, oh my God, that really happened. And it's like, no, it's a movie, man. I was like, oh, okay. So I can't really think of one, but that at least lets you know the type of stuff that still gets me to this day, got me then, still gets me now. Like when they hit me with that based on a true story, I'm like, oh snap, this really happened to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then I get a little freaked out, edge of the seat type thing. So those are the ones that get me. If y'all have any scary movie recommendations, I would love a top 5, top 10 list, or just a list in general. Y'all can send it to me on Facebook. Y'all can send it to me on anything. I don't care. Contact us on our website, teamnostalgiax.com. You go straight to the bottom of the page. There's a contact us that you can send us a direct email to our Gmail, and let us know what are some of your favorites, because I'm definitely down to watch it. But that is what has scared the living ish out of me since I
I'll
was
kind of
young.
put it this way: if we get the list and we pick it out, I'll say we'll take a picture of it, give the shout out to the person that gave us the list, and we'll put it on our Instagram or Twitter. How about that?
I would say too, like just more letting that my comments reminisce, like not reminisce, but kind of linger a little bit, marinate, if I may. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, being that was based,
That was a good
loosely based off a true story, stuff like that. Psycho, stuff like that. Exorcist,
Poltergeist.
Yeah, Poltergeist. I actually, my girlfriend hadn't seen the original one, so I had her watch it with me about a week ago, and she liked it. I was like, she hates horror movies, by the way, any of them. So I was like, give this one a chance. It's not too scary, but it is very good, and she watched it, and then me watching it again for the first time in a while. I still enjoyed it. There were a lot of little funny parts. One really freaky part. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but it is an older movie, so sorry. I'm gonna jump into somewhat of a spoiler. There is a scene where basically Poltergeist, for those that don't know, is a movie about a home that later on, once the movie's about 3/4 of the way through, you find out that the whole neighborhood or organization of homes, whatever you want to call it, was built on cemetery. Instead of, choosing somewhere else to build these homes, the guy that was over choosing the destination or the location for the homes decided to just lift the tombstones and relocate those, but left everything else under there. So that's pretty effed up. I mean,
Big time.
I can't think of much more. That's much more things that are effed up as that. So basically, it is like the souls of these dead individuals haunting this home, and it started with their daughter that was about 3 or 4 years old getting sucked into the television. And they played off of that with that no signal kind of white-black screen where there's no signal coming in. So this was set in I want to say it came out in the 80s, early mid 80s, somewhere around there, like 85ish or something. So don't hold it against me if I'm really off on the years. But once again, like real life stuff that can happen. You watch this movie, 82. So it came out 82. But anyway, you watched this movie back then. You were scared if your TV didn't have a signal coming in. You were like, hell no, turn that off. I don't want to be anywhere near this TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just really freaky.
And the power of Christ compels you.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to be anywhere near a TV getting no signal. Your TV gets no signal, you're like, oh gosh. All right, no more TV for the rest of the day.
Kids, move out of the way.
Let's go to church, type stuff. But a lot of things happen. There's this really freaky scene on the movie where after they found out something crazy is going on in the house, they kind of hire a crew of almost like unofficial Ghostbusters to come in and use their gear and try to, look into this paranormal activity. One of them, Caucasian gentleman, is hungry, goes into the kitchen after like a late night, because they basically spend the night there for a few nights to oversee what's going on, try to catch it on camera type stuff, and hopefully help them find their daughter that got sucked into the TV or the home. Mm-hmm. He goes into the kitchen, and then the crazy trippiest thing happens where it flashes to him ripping his own face off. And it goes further than any other scene in the movie, so you don't expect it, and it looks so real. I was just like, wow. So that type of stuff, that's the type of stuff you expect maybe from like a Hellraiser, stuff like that, or a Freddy Krueger movie. So when it hits you with this movie, that this movie feels a lot more real, it really is trippy. So great movie though. I love the old school flicks, me. So check it out if you haven't. And they did make a part 2. I don't know everything that happens with that one off the top of my head, so I won't go too much into that one.
It was in like an apartment in a city.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
Not really that good.
Yeah, but the OG one, those are the ones that hit me, and still to this day, like the fact that some of this stuff could really happen, I'm just like, man, those are the ones that make me lose sleep at night. But like the Halloween, and that's not to say this stuff can't really happen. Like Halloween, someone puts a mask on and starts going on a killing spree. That can really happen, but I'm more mentally prepared going into those types of movies than these that just catch you off guard.
Oh yeah,
with stuff that could potentially happen. So, so that's something that scared me as a kid that can still get me as a grown man. All right, so obviously I mentioned it before. J-Bat was out of town. He was at the beach eating on that nice seafood. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of coconut shrimp. I don't know if you had any of that. If you did, I'm a little jelly.
I did.
And he didn't send me any pictures. He didn't say, hey, DJ Doom, check this out. He didn't even, whether or not it would have pissed me off seeing that good seafood, I didn't see nothing. He did send me like a couple pictures in with the kids, but I would have liked, that would have gave me a reason to go eat seafood, because he just threw some like just delicious looking plates at me.
Okay, well, we'll do this. We'll take a trip down there. We'll do a family trip. We'll go down there and we'll spend 3 days just to go down.
But what are some of the highlights? What was some of your favorite things? Like if you had to name 2 or 3 things you did.
Some of the things I loved going to, did a dolphin tour. We got into a boat and they had glass bottoms.
Oh, nice.
And they rode you out. So we went from Alabama to Florida, just going all, and we saw about 15 dolphins just swimming around, jumping, and everything else. That was really cool. And my son loves arcades, thanks to me. So we hit up all the arcades that they had that we knew that were really, really good, and we hit up one arcade, and My niece is really good at this game called Crossy Roads.
Oh yeah,
And my brother was determined to.
kind of like Frogger. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Frogger.
That's a chicken. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A chicken or a duck.
Yeah.
Now they have Disney Crossy Roads, which is a lot cooler. But I'm not dogging it. So my brother was determined to have her beat the high score and actually win the jackpot. So one of it is that if you beat the high score, you get your things on the high score. Plus, if you beat the jackpot number, you get 1,000 tickets.
Okay. And what would you
15
say 1,000 tickets would get you prize was at this place?
They had their eye on a squid hat.
A squid hat. Mm-hmm. Kind of like
Like from Splatoon.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Okay.
It was 1,100 tickets.
Okay.
15 minutes later, my niece got the highest score plus the jackpot.
Nice.
So she has 1,000 tickets, and I'm like, what are you going to do with all that? So we all did tickets. We all got a lot of tickets. My niece and my brother got 2,800 tickets.
Nice.
My dad got 1,400 tickets. My son and my daughter and I, we got 1,500 tickets. So we all had a good amount.
Yeah.
And my son and my daughter got a hat they wanted, which was really cool. My daughter got a wizard hat. My son got an umbrella hat. My niece got an umbrella hat plus a squid hat, and got some stuff for my nephew and that was fun. And also another thing is, I'll probably do one more, is going to the beach. You know, my brother and I make a tradition that we dig a big hole and we put the kids in and we, bury them in the sand. So that was, we're trying to make it a tradition doing that each year we go. But hopefully, DJ Doom, we can go down there and eat some good seafood.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
And have some fun while we're down there.
So me, I'm going to a little vacation in a couple days, about 48 hours. I'm going to the Origins Game Festival. By the time y'all listen to this, I will have already gone, probably on the way back. But with all that said, I'm expecting to see play a lot of fun games this weekend. I'm bringing the family. I went last year and I was like, man, I wish I had my kids with me so we can experience this together. There is some things. I play HeroClix competitively, hence Team Nostalgia X Team. But we play HeroClix competitively. That's one of the main reasons I'm going. But I'm only doing that part of 2 of the days. We're going to be there for at least 4 days. So those other 2 days, I can just play games with the kids, the family, all day long. And there's also me and J-Bat's favorite thing to do, places to shop. One of our favorite shops is coolstuff.com or coolstuffinc.com, and also Troll and Toad. They sell all kinds of stuff, whether we're talking figures, collectibles, different pieces for games, you name it. But on top of that, you can also sell them stuff. And they have coupons where it's like, hey, if you trade in $50 worth of stuff, we're going to give you a bonus $5. So they have all these cool incentives. So if I'm playing one of the games I like and I end up with a bunch of stuff that I don't need, I can go right there instead of having to do it over their website. I can go right there because they're going to be there and trade stuff in for cold hard cash, like it's legitimate.
I'm going to give you some.
So it's super awesome and a lot of fun stuff. Everything that you can imagine from a gaming standpoint. They got zombie games. They got World War II dogfight games. They have Star Wars. They have Pokemon. They have
Don't they have a wrestling game?
They have a wrestling game that I brought last year from when I went. And
that was fun.
Pretty cool. They collaborated with legitimate wrestlers like Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and everyone in between. And those wrestlers get some of the proceeds. Like you can actually buy their card and use them as your wrestler for your game, and some of the proceeds go to the actual wrestler. Like Ricochet was one that was on there too. So it's super awesome. A lot of crazy cool games, a lot of crazy cool vendors. There's people that make custom crafts. Like if you're into a game and you want a really cool storage case, there's companies there that make, like custom storage. And there's even table companies there. If you want an awesome gaming table, you can buy it from there because the manufacturers will be there, have their own booth, and you can get it custom ordered and then they'll ship it to your house. So it's like, hey, you want this?
That's pretty cool.
We'll first of all, they're made to order. So we'll make it for you, put in the special pieces and custom pieces you want, and we'll ship it to you. So by the time you get home, it'll be coming your way.
Waiting at your door.
All right. So a lot of cool, great stuff when I went last year. This year, I expect it to be bigger, better. And I'm also going to have the family with me. So I expect to have a lot of fun. I'm also going to be in Ohio downtown. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going. I'm super excited.
Hopefully next year we can go.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got to try to hit Dragon Con again. And
oh, yeah, definitely.
Even if it's just me and you that go, we didn't totally make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because Atlanta's not far. You know what I'm saying? And, even if we just go for one day and then drive back the next or something, whatever, we'll see what money's looking like. We're gonna make it happen though.
Definitely.
I would love to do like the Comic Cons and just multiple conventions. I would definitely want to make that a thing next year. So we'll see what happens. But with that said, guys, we're going to cut this one a little short just because we have a few things going on. And obviously we want to get some rest for the upcoming trip I got going on. I also got in a fender bender. Someone rear-ended my car. So a little bit of pain. Got to cut the day short because of that too. But I'm okay. For anyone that was wondering, obviously I've been on this podcast for how many ever minutes and I didn't complain about it. So I'm okay. Probably going to have to take some pain medication. Probably going to feel like 20, 30 years older when I wake up in the morning tomorrow. Right. But as I said, I'm okay. We're going to continue. We're dedicated to bringing you new episodes every week. We are dedicated to keeping it fun with everybody. And we have our website. We have our Patreon. I'm actually working on bringing y'all other ways to interact with us. I have the Discord. Yeah, I'm putting together a Discord. It is going to be something that's exclusive to our supporters through Patreon, which it is patreon.com/NSX podcast if you want to check that out. But at certain tiers, I'm going to throw Discord access. The Discord allows you to literally speak to us, chat with us at certain times that we've set up. Once we have supporters at those tiers, which I will mention which those tiers are on the Patreon page itself, we will set up times with those supporters where you can chat with us about upcoming podcast episode ideas ahead of course, the podcast being recorded. So you could potentially give us topics. You could potentially give us input, and you could potentially get shout outs on the podcast for the stuff you throw at us, because we're all about showing you love if you show us love. But whether or not you're supporting us on the Patreon, that doesn't matter. We still love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for spending time out of your day to, check us out, be on this nostalgia ride with us. And we're going to continue to do what we do. New episodes every Monday. That's our motto as of right now. Once we get the HeroClix team up and going, we are also planning to do another podcast completely separate for this one, for those of y'all that are curious about what that game is and just hearing us talk about pieces and different sets coming out. That's something that we'll have coming up in the future. We also have team gear coming up. That team gear is, of course, exclusive to the team, but it's also team doesn't just mean the legitimate team. It's also you guys, the listeners, the ones that love us, that listen in every week. If you support us on Patreon, certain levels will get team gear as well. So that's something that, as it's all coming together over the next few weeks. I'm going to be releasing images on like the Instagram and things like that.
We'll do teases on the Instagram.
Right. But
Little pieces of cloth on it.
yeah, little snips like, hey, this is a shirt.
This is the color.
Is it a Hanes Beefy tee? But yeah, a lot of great things to come with the team. We're super excited, and yeah, we'll be eventually coming to cities near you. When we expand this, we plan to take it on the road eventually, but that's a long time coming. For starters, though, if you want to see more about what we have planned, check us out on that Patreon and follow us on Twitter at NSX Podcast. And that way you can stay tuned with what we got going on. We also are going to be doing some Facebook promo for this episode over the next few days. So feel free to check us out. We may or may not have a fan page for Facebook. I still haven't decided on that, but just keep your eyes and ears tuned because there's definitely more and more to come from us. All right, that's it for this week, guys. Check us out. Like I said, new episodes every Monday. And if you don't know where to subscribe, if you're an iPhone user or iPad user, you can actually get us right on the podcast app on Apple, the Nostalgia X podcast. If you are an Android user, you have a few options. You can actually
How many
go through.
options is it, like 1 or 2?
It's like 3 options technically.
Good grief.
So play music on Android phones, just the Play Music app. Just look up the Nostalgia X podcast. If it doesn't pop up, you probably need to update the app itself because
If
it
you
is
got-
something that's happened the past year where they now support podcast on Google Play.
And if you have enough memory to download the
right.
update.
Another way, which this would be probably my preferred way if I was an Android user, is to download the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, Stitcher. And that is a app dedicated to podcasts. That is also an option on the iPhone as well if you don't want to use the podcast app. But Stitcher works great. Very great support app for all podcasts. So you don't just have to use it to listen to us. There are a lot of other podcasts out there too that you can find on there. But that one works great. As soon as I upload an episode, it immediately shows on all 3 of those platforms. Once we get 5 or more episodes, we will also show up on Spotify. So if you're a Spotify user, that is soon to be an option in about 2 more weeks. We'll be showing up on there.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. We are growing. I would say about this time next week, we'll have over 100 downloads for our episodes. So that's pretty awesome. Looking forward to that. Maybe we'll do something special for that. But appreciate all the love and support. Keep listening. And there's more and more to come, guys. See you next week.